We're in Saratoga Springs, New York, just north of Albany. We're filming this now in mid-November. You're seeing it in mid-December, and really, it's starting to get cold out.
You know, we knew this was gonna happen. I'm waiting for the episode where there's gonna be snow on the ground. We're in New York, it's gonna happen to us. But today is not that day. It is 70 degrees out. Feels like summer.
Yep.
I need a Hawaiian shirt for that.
This is better.
I think it's time for us to find out what's on tap at Artisanal Brew Works. I can't get my shirt on, but we're going in. There we go.
Across the nation, people have turned the hobby of crafting beer into a lifestyle. Amazing breweries are only a few minutes away from your own home.
From nano to regional or micro to macro, the question you won't need to ask is what's on tap.
Artisanal Brew Works first opened their doors back in 2016, and they have been cranking out delicious beer after beer. But with that many great options, they're starting to outgrow their space. So sometime in 2021, this is going to be their new home.
Yeah, they're going from Saratoga Springs to Wilton, which is literally 10 minutes away. But before they go into here, they're moving into this place. And that's going to be, literally when this episode comes out, they will be in here. There's the sign. So you can literally see also, that's how close they're gonna be. So they'll be in here temporarily, move over to there. That's where the new Artisanal is gonna be. But let's head back to the current location as of November 8th and check out this place.
Let's go.
Kurt, Colin, thank you guys so much for doing this with us.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to
for
come
having
here.
us.
That's your own place.
Yeah, in our own place.
I told you guys inside that everyone's talking about the Warhead beers, but you guys got a lot more than that. But Artisanal, how did you guys, say we got to start a brewery, and when did that happen?
Just crazy, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I was buying water. I used to, homebrew. I was using RO water, which we still do as a professional level. I was at a grocery store at like 5:30 in the morning with 5 buckets, getting them filled up at the machine. And a guy saw me that I know, and it's like, what the heck are you doing? So I told him, I'm looking at starting a brewery at some point, and I'm just working on some test recipes. And he goes, do you know about the Saratoga building? And this building here used to house the Saratoga Bike Factory. They made like bikes, they were high-end bikes for like Tour de France, competition racing bikes. They had closed and it was vacant for a couple years, and the guy said a guy bought it and he's going to put a distillery in half of the building, and he's trying to figure out what to do in the other half. And I'm like, brewery.
Yeah, no brainer.
Came over, checked it out, made sure that the city of Saratoga would allow to have a brewery with food trucks and music, and at that point they said yes. And then I went in and I sketched everything out on AutoCAD. I used to be an engineer, so I did layouts to make sure it would work. And then once I kind of did the initial verification that it was a viable location, then I got Colin and I said, hey, I got a spot to put a brewery. And then the rest is history.
I've been thinking about starting a brewery for a long time, homebrewed for many, many years, and finally it got to a point where it's like, all right, been talking about it long enough, just it's time to do it. Just kind of got to rip the Band-Aid off and go, You
guys are going to a new location, and that's awesome. So, and that's something, especially with everything going on right now, it's great to see that there is, I would say expansion really, but
Yeah, it's definitely driven by the fact that we need more space.
We need more fermenters than what we have, and we also want to have food. We can't have food at this location.
We could use some more taproom space too, and parking's definitely always
an
issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of those little things that nobody really, well, you think about, but nobody really drills into you when you open a brewery or any business like that. Is always figuring out more parking than you think you need.
People have to get here and they need somewhere to park. Yeah. With this area, obviously, I feel like Saratoga is very well known for horse racing and probably brings in a bunch of people. What does this area bring in for you guys? Is it a lot of locals? Is it a lot of tourists? Is it a pretty steady mix in a normal year? year,
It's
obviously.
kind of funny. I mean, we started out, and granted, we started making a lot more traditional beers when we were brand new. We really had a focus on Belgian style beers, more traditional Belgian style beers. But sort of the mix of people that have come in through the time that we've been open has really changed a lot. We've had a lot of really great support from people in the area, and we definitely have some regulars that we see all the time, and people that really are like friends and family here to us that are in all the time. But the last couple of years, we've seen really a lot of people coming from all over the place, out-of-state license plates in the parking lot.
You know, the Warheads definitely got us more exposure, obviously.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we get people that come from all over now. On a Saturday, tap room's packed. It's full of faces that we don't recognize at all. And it used to be just us. We used to recognize everybody
in there.
And now it's like we don't recognize anybody, and half the license in the parking lot are out of state.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
does that do anything for your brewing as far as the beers? Does that make you want to create more variation to try and bring more variation of people in?
We've never really been influenced, I guess, by license plates in the parking lot. You know what I mean? We've always been focused on making beers that are first really well made and having fun with it. I mean, we really have a good time down in the brew house, and the brewers that work with us have a great time down there too.
Some of the development of some of our beers, it's been driven more by some other inspiration. It wasn't like we're like, okay, well, let's go make a really hype beer that people really like. I was making a cherry sour. I never made a cherry. It was a kettle sour, and then we put in some sour cherry puree, and we were going for a certain flavor, and put in a ton of puree, and there just wasn't much flavor. So I bought another boatload of the puree, and I was going to put it in. You're waiting a couple of days. So I'm like, I'm going to hedge my bets here, and I bought some organic cherry extract. Put the puree in first, of course, tasted it, and I'm like, okay, now you can taste it, and we're fine. I had this extract, and I'm like, I'll see what it does. So I got a little sample, and I started dosing little taster glasses with different amounts, and I'm sitting there tasting it. I go to one, I'm like, whoa. And my brewers are there like, what? And I'm like, hold on. So I go get more taster glasses. I mix them up, and I'm like, taste that. And they go, wow, that tastes like a cherry.
Tastes like cherry candy.
Yeah, cherry candy. And I'm like, you know what that means? We could do green apple, we could do grape, we could do blue raspberry.
Yeah.
So then I spent about 6 months figuring out how to mimic those flavors. And I tried all natural ways. Clearly the candy is not naturally colored and is not naturally flavored. And so I contacted Warheads, and I asked them if I could partner with them, and then also I got their flavors. So for the Warheads, we're actually using their flavors to flavor the beer.
Wow.
So cool.
So
It's authentic.
What an awesome though, like collaboration for you guys and them.
Yeah.
I mean, like sours, and I've said it multiple times on the show where I'm like, when I'm looking for a sour beer, I want it to be sour. I think of Warheads, and I'm like, your face, you know, it puckers up.
Literally on the can.
Yeah.
That's what you look like.
So you guys do a lot more than just the. I mean, we talked about the Warheads, but you got a lot more. I've seen there's the Picture Day series.
Yep.
And you got the Touch of Crunch, right?
Yep.
However, what are some of the other big series and big beers that you guys have, your flagships?
We do a whole bunch of different things. The Picture Day series is a rotating single IPA. There's a numbered series, so it's a different beer every time, different hops, different changes to the recipe every time. We also do a double IPA series like that, the taproom series. So those are the two main IPA series.
We have our standard, our standard, I guess our house IPA, the one that we maybe call flagship. The one we distribute widely is called Daily Double, and that has gone through probably legitimately on the record 26 changes off the records. Where it's like minor stuff, like changing the, we're gonna bump up the chlorides. It's like, that's really not worth calling it a revision. Yeah. But we've probably had about 40 revisions in total. Wow. And so like people who had the Daily Double from its beginning days,
3 years ago,
they're like, oh yeah, Daily Double's okay. I'm like, when was the last time you had it? Well, I had it like 2 years ago. I'm like, wow, you really
15 revisions ago.
No idea like what you're missing here. Like we do a rotating stout series called Multiple Infinities. It's what is it, 7.5? Something like that.
7.6. The ABVs start to get fuzzy after a while. when you got 18 beers on tap all the time, remembering all of the ABVs gets a little tough.
So hearing a lot about, let's go check out the new place and head to the brewery.
All right, sounds good.
Stepped over to the brewery, and Colin's not here, but Kurt, this is the temporary spot.
That's correct. Originally, we're going to end up at about I think it's 10,000 square foot building, which sits in the same plaza here. It has right now it's a collision shop, and so it has 5 bay doors along one side, both sides. So there's a total of 10 bay doors. 5 of them face out towards a bunch of woods right here, and I thought, boy, it's going to be a beautiful beer garden. Yeah. So we're going to make them into overhead doors that are glass, so in the winter you can still look outside. They are building a new spot, this collision center. They're moving just a stone's throw away from me on my right. Their construction got delayed because of COVID, but what it didn't delay was end of my 5-year lease at my original spot. And we had always planned on moving to an area where we could have a restaurant. That was been the plan. So what we hashed as an idea was taking over this space. It's in the same plaza, so as far as the move goes, it's going to be a lot easier for our next move. We won't need to pack up all our equipment and put it on the trucks to bring it somewhere else. We can put it on a forklift, which is actually right here, and we can drive it on the parking lot to the new spot. So what we'll do is the company is moving out of that spot end of December. So starting January, we'll do the fit up for the restaurant and the brewery. And my goal really is get the restaurant rolling first. We keep making beer here, and then relocate the brewery when it makes sense timing wise. So the key is to get to a bigger space, because in the winter indoors, the bigger your spot, the more people you can get at that 50% capacity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully it maintains that. So that's kind of the big picture. And then right now we're toying with the idea of, and it's probably going to happen. We invested more money than we had hoped to into this particular property we're on right now, just to get the infrastructure so that I could handle making beer. And we're like, well, it makes sense to have a complementary business in the same plaza. So we're gonna do a winery and cidery at this location. And then we'll have the brewery with all the food and the back part of the lot. And then the goal also is there's a beautiful hiking behind here. There's some private land that you have to go, it's going up the side of a mountain basically, and then it goes into Skidmore there's some trails back there that Skidmore owns. So the hope is to have a trailhead for mountain biking and hiking, snowshoeing, stuff like that.
That's just a neat tie-in to what is a heavily outdoor area. A lot of people either that live here or come here, they're looking to be outdoors. Yeah. So I think that's a huge addition.
Yeah, we want to be a destination brewery. Yeah. And we've become a destination brewery because of our beer selection, and we'd like to add to that. And we just couldn't add on those other layers at the spot that we were at. So we were limited, which is why we wanted to move, and here we are.
So really cool to check out what's going to be Artisanal's new location, but as of today, November 8th, we're back in their current location.
Yeah, I'm ready to try some beers.
Yep.
It's time for us.
Pour four.
We'll do the IPA first.
Awesome.
All right.
So this is the Daily Double?
This is the Daily Double. This is the one that's gone through ton of revisions. And in fact, it started out being a clear IPA. And obviously it's no longer clear. Our style of IPA is we don't want astringency. So, we go for the hazy, juicy. There's no boil hops whatsoever. What we're looking for is a good hop saturation. Some double IPAs that we make will use lactose. The Daily Double has never, ever used lactose.
Oh, and when you're thinking of the hazy IPA, it gets a little bit of a little floralness. You're getting those sweet flavors as well, and it ends up, for a double too, double IPA really ends up drinking real nice. For a daily double, I can have a couple of these daily.
One of the key components for me is the creaminess to it, and it's almost like you get with a nitro, silky. It's very soft, velvety, smooth, and but all the flavors you described, that's exactly what I'm picking up. So it's delicious.
If you're gonna have a flagship, it better be pretty damn good beer.
Yeah, no, and I would say it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, this is a great flagship. This is a great one to kind of hang your hat on.
Next up is, so now we're into some more 2 seasonal beers. The first one is our Touch of Crunch. I guess you'd say it's more of a brown ale. It looks for it's a deeper red color, but you can't tell in these small glasses. It is made with a cinnamon square cereal. We did 25, 50, 75, 100. Yeah, 150 boxes of cereal went into the 6-barrel batch. 25, I do a 10-barrel batch, so it was the family size.
Yeah.
I did about 25 boxes.
I saw you guys dumping it right in, right on Instagram.
Yeah.
Just right into the boil.
That's how you get that authentic flavor.
Yeah.
Straight from the source.
It smells just like a cinnamon square cereal. Tastes like it. It's exactly what like. You've nailed it with this. And come on, like who doesn't like
This
that
was my
type
favorite
of cereal?
growing up.
Yeah,
it's the best.
And it's got a little bit of a chocolatey flavor in there. And so, last year it was actually a red ale, like legitimately red. It was accidental when we did our 10-barrel batch here. Thought I had grabbed it was like Special K and there's Special B and my guys, I told them to get the wrong one. There's one that was much darker colored malt. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh man, that looks dark. Like it's supposed to be red. But then when we tasted it, I'm like, I don't care what you did. It's great. So it has the cinnamon flavors, but it also has this great chocolate characteristic. Yeah. And so we did tone it down when we went up to the 6-barrel batch. I would, and now I'm afraid to touch it because I just really like the flavor so much.
Perfect.
Whatever this recipe is, lock this one up.
Yes, it is locked up. Yeah. So next up, we make a chocolate brown, typically in the fall. We put some into, I think it was a whiskey barrel.
I'm feeling like whiskey. Yeah. It's right there, right at the nose.
And then we put in cherry concentrate, and we also put in cacao nibs. So we just every like 6 months or so, we'd be like, we should do something. We'd chuck something in the barrel and then just cap it and let it ferment out. And
that is crazy. It's almost like a candy. Like it's like a chocolate covered cherry almost. I love getting those. I get those at Christmas time.
Yeah.
I get a box. I'm the only one in my family who likes them.
It makes sense for a good seasonal beer too. You're thinking that you literally just said it when you get them.
Yeah, but it comes out a little tart at first.
Yep.
You get a little bit of notes from the whiskey barrels, but then it finishes smooth with the chocolatey.
Yep.
That is great.
Yeah.
It feels very well rounded.
Yeah.
From the chocolate, and it's like you're containing that cherry in the middle.
So is this something you would do again?
Oh yeah.
I would say this is a need. This is a need to do again. That is so good. Wow.
All right. So there it is. You just smell and you smell and taste.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. So is black cherry Warhead?
Yeah.
It's candy.
Yeah.
It smells just like candy. It smells like candy shell.
It does.
The way that it hits your tongue. That is, and the way it finishes too, because you know how like there's something about the Warhead candies, right? It's super sour on the outside. I like what you did. You to run it underwater and really get what the flavor of the candy is. Yeah. And when you eat one of those candies, it has like this different kind of aftertaste that candy, not the beer, the candy. Yeah. You've been able to, and it's not like a bad aftertaste, I'm just saying it's something that I've only been able to taste, and I can't even describe it, with Warheads. It's only with Warheads.
Yeah.
And it ends just like a Warhead ends. When you bite into it and you crunch it up and swallow. That's what it tastes like.
Yeah, this does something very funky on your tongue. It's like a tingling feeling at first, and then almost, as you were talking, I had to do a second sip to confirm, but it comes back. The flavor comes back in the back of your
It's
tongue.
like it jumps over.
Like,
it
hangs out with
a
it,
little bit longer. You're like, oh, I thought this was over, and it ramps back up. That's really cool.
Unreal. That is so cool. That is so cool. What a cool beer.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, and I said to you outside, you want it to be, you know, if every sip was that punch in your face, that's what Warhead is. Warhead truly is a punch in your face sour.
Yeah.
On every sip.
Yeah.
You're gonna drink the whole thing. You want to drink a 16 ounce. This is perfect.
If I drink a pint of this myself, by the end of the pint, I'm starting to get a little heartburn. So, and the pH of this is the lowest pH sour baits that we make. So we make a big
sour.
batch. You know, we're doing 60 barrel batches of each one, each flavor individually. But originally I had 20 barrel fermenters, so I would do 2 20 barrel batches. And we would peel off 10 barrels, and so you get the base, and then you'd be blending with the food coloring and then the flavor as you transfer into another tank, and then package off the individual tanks. So when we made it here, it was a lot of work on the packaging side of things. So and you had to bang it out in a couple days, and then make mixed 4-packs, which is very manual. But that's how we prefer to sell it, as the mixed 4-packs.
I think it makes
that's the perfect way to sell it.
It's like you grab a mixed bag of candy, mixed bag of Warheads.
Yeah, that's how
Same
they
thing.
sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we make right now 5 flavors. We have a 6th in process, but I can't say what the flavor is.
Oh,
We're excited to see that.
keep people coming back.
This episode is coming out mid-December. I don't know if it.
It probably won't be ready then. I haven't done the lab work yet to taste out the flavors and get the blends. But
Maybe early next year.
yeah. But I'll give you a hint though. You may have heard of their smash ups. They have their blends of flavors now.
Oh.
So we're gonna do a smash up. So they have
You can
some
go a lot of
different
ways.
Yeah, they have 2 different blends. So they have like 3 there's one in particular I really like to try first, but there's 3 in total I like to do.
The constant rotation. That was cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love what you guys are doing. I mean, even, you know, and I think that's the thing is that these Warheads really are taking off, and you said it. You know, these Warheads are really taking off, and everyone's wanting to try them. But you really have. This is a great taste of beers here, and I got a lot more on tap beer. 18, right? 18 on tap. You know, the Warheads are cool, but man, if you like beer, there's a great selection. Yeah. Everyone very different, and you know, gives you a good taste. It's unique. Kurt, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
We're very happy customers of them. We come quite often. And so it's. I like what they've done with the different IPAs, and also our favorite is like their Belgian beers.
Good. We like Artisanal.
Yeah, this is up there in our the local breweries that we like better.
If there's a bar, restaurant, or even just somebody wants to pick up a keg or get your beer, whether it be in New York State, I know a lot of times if you guys are shipping, it's New York State only.
Yep.
What's the easiest way? Get a hold of you guys.
Come to the taproom.
Come right in.
Come
Well,
to the brewery. Come to the source.
The website. If it's someone like out of state wondering where they could get it, they go onto our website. There's a FAQ section, frequently asked questions, and then it will have the bulk of their answers. And then if they still have questions, like say it's someone that wants to, buy our beer in another state, it'll have the email of our sales director, and they contact him, and then it goes from there.
So that wraps up our day here at Artisanal Brew Works. I'm so excited to finally be bringing this beer home. I've been seeing it everywhere, and thank you so much to Kurt, everyone here at Artisanal. This has been awesome.
Yeah, this is a great place right now, but the new one, that's going to be even better. We're so excited to check that out further down the line.
Absolutely.
But for now, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, so you can see where our journey takes us next on What's on Tap.
Cheers.